Anarchist economics. 14 languages. This article possibly contains synthesis of material which does not verifiably mention or relate to the main topic. Relevant discussion may be found on the talk page. July 2023. Learn how and when to remove this message. Anarchist economics is the set of theories and practices of economic activity within the political philosophy of anarchism. Anarchists are anti-authoritarian and anti-capitalist, with anarchism usually referred to as a form of libertarian socialism, i.e. a stateless system of socialism. 1, 2, 3. Anarchists support personal property, defined in terms of possession and use, i.e. mutualist. Usufruct, 4, 5, and oppose capital concentration, interest, monopoly, private ownership of productive property such as the means of production, capital, land and the means of labor, profit, rent, usury, and wage slavery which are viewed as inherent to capitalism. 6, 7. Anarchism is often considered a radical left-wing or far-left movement. 8, 9, and much of its economics as well as legal philosophy reflect anti-authoritarian, anti-statist and libertarian interpretations of left-wing and socialist politics such as communism, collectivism, free market, individualism, mutualism, participism and syndicalism, among other libertarian socialist economics. 10. The majority of anarchist theorists do not consider anarcho-capitalism as a part of the anarchist movement due to the fact that anarchism has historically been an anti-capitalist movement and seen as incompatible with capitalism. 11, 12. Unlike anarcho-capitalists, the free market individualist anarchists retain the labor theory of value and socialist doctrines. 13. Anarchists argue that characteristic capitalist institutions promote and reproduce various forms of economic activity which they consider oppressive, including private property, as in productive property rather than personal property, hierarchical production relations, collecting rents from private property, taking a profit in exchanges and or collecting interest on loans. 1, 3, 14. Anarchists see the ruling class, including capitalists, landlords and all other forms of involuntary, coercive hierarchy, socio-economic rulership and social stratification, as the primary rulers of society, with workers' self-management, democratic education and cooperative housing seen as removing such authority. Unlike right libertarians, anarchists endorse possession-based ownership rather than proprietarianism. 15, 16. Historical overview, edit. Early views, edit. See also, History of Anarchism. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Pierre Joseph. Proud Hun. Joshua Warren. The early English anarchist William Godwin's views on economics could be summarized as follows. He envisages the possibility of specialization in the various crafts, which would lead to a man's following the task for which he had the greatest aptitude, and distributing his surplus products to whoever may need them, receiving what he himself needs of other things from the surplus produced by his neighbors, but always on the basis of free distribution, not of exchange. It is evident that, despite his speculations on the future of machinery, Godwin's ideal society is based on the economics of handcrafts and cultivation. 17. For the influential German individualist anarchist philosopher Max Stirner, Private property is a spook which lives by the grace of law, and it becomes mine only by effect of the law. In other words, private property exists purely through the protection of the state, through the state's grace. Recognizing its need for state protection, Stirner is also aware that it need not make any difference to the good citizens who protects them and their principles, whether an absolute king or a constitutional one, a republic, if only they are protected. And what is their principle, whose protector they always love? Not that of labor, rather it is interest-bearing possession. Laboring capital, therefore, labor certainly, yet little or none at all of one's own, but labor of capital and of the subject laborers. 18. Pierre-Joseph Proudhon was involved with the Lyons Mutualists and later adopted the name to describe his own teachings. 19. In What is Mutualism, Clarence Lee Swartz gives his own account of the origin of the term, claiming that he word mutualism seems to have been first used by John Gray, an English writer, in 1832. 20. Joshua Warren is widely regarded as the first American anarchist. 21, and the 4-page weekly paper he edited during 1833. The Peaceful Revolutionist was the first anarchist periodical published. 22. Warren termed the phrase cost the limit of price, with cost here referring not to monetary price paid but the labor one exerted to produce an item. 23. Therefore, he proposed a system to pay people with certificates indicating how many hours of work they did. They could exchange the notes at local time stores for goods that took the same amount of time to produce. 21. Warren put his theories to the test by establishing an experimental labor for labor store called the Cincinnati Time Store, where trade was facilitated by notes backed by a promise to perform labor. The store proved successful and operated for 3 years, after which it was closed so that Warren could pursue establishing colonies based on mutualism. These included Utopia and Modern Times. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Mikhail Bakunin. Warren said that Stephen Pearl Andrews' The Science of Society, published in 1852, was the most lucid and complete exposition of Warren's own theories. 24. In Europe, an early anarcho-communist was Joseph de Jacque, the first person to describe himself as libertarian. 25. Unlike and against Proudhon, he argued that it is not the product of his or her labor that the worker has a right to, but to the satisfaction of his or her needs, whatever may be their nature. 26, 27, 28. Economics in Organized Mass Social Anarchism, edit. The anti-authoritarian sections of the First International proclaimed at the St. Imier Congress, 1872, that the aspirations of the proletariat can have no purpose other than the establishment of an absolutely free economic organization and federation, founded upon the labor and equality of all and absolutely independent of all political government, in which each worker will have the right to the enjoyment of the gross product of his labors and thereby the means of developing his full intellectual, material and moral powers in a collective setting. This revolutionary transformation could only be the outcome of the spontaneous action of the proletariat itself, its trades, bodies and the autonomous communes. 29. Due to its links to active workers' movements, the International became a significant organization. Karl Marx became a leading figure in the International and a member of its General Council. Proud Hun's followers, the mutualists, opposed Marx's state socialism, advocating political abstentionism and small property holdings. 31. In 1868, following their unsuccessful participation in the League of Peace and Freedom, LPF, Russian revolutionary Mikhail Bakunin and his collectivist anarchist associates joined the First International, which had decided not to get involved with the LPF. 32. They allied themselves with the Federalist Socialist sections of the International. 33. Who advocated the revolutionary overthrow of the state and the collectivization of property. A similar position was adopted by the Federation of Workers of the Spanish region in 1882 as articulated by anarchist veteran of the First International, Josep Llunas i Pujols in his essay, Collectivism. 29. The collectivist anarchists advocated remuneration for the type and amount of labor adhering to the principle to each according to deeds. 34. By the early 1880s, most of the European anarchist movement had adopted an anarcho-communist position, advocating the abolition of wage labor and distribution according to need. Ironically, the collectivist label then became more commonly associated with Marxist state socialists who advocated the retention of some sort of wage system during the transition to full communism. Anarcho-communist Peter Kropotkin attacked this position in his essay, The Collectivist Wages. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Peter Kropotkin system, which was reprinted in his book The Conquest of Bread in 1892. Caffro explains in Anarchy and Communism, 1880, that private property in the product of labor will lead to unequal accumulation of capital and therefore the reappearance of social classes and their antagonisms, and thus the resurrection of the state. If we preserve the individual appropriation of the products of labor, we would be forced to preserve money, leaving more or less accumulation of wealth, according to more or less merit rather than need of individuals. 26. Anarchism Economics in Practice, The Spanish Revolution, edit. Main articles, Revolutionary Catalonia and Spanish Revolution of 1936. In the strong anarchist movement in Spain, the debate between collectivism and anarcho-communism was revived. This double base, both industrial and rural, had turned the libertarian communism of Spanish anarcho-syndicalism in somewhat divergent directions, the one communalist, the other syndicalist. The communalism was expressed in a more local, more rural spirit, one might almost say, more southern, for one of its principal bastions was in Andalusia. Syndicalism, on the other hand, was more urban and Unitarian in spirit, more northerly, too, since its main center was Catalonia. 35. Spanish anarchist theoreticians were somewhat divided on this subject. A section of them had given their hearts to Peter Kropotkin and his erudite yet simplistic idealization of the communes of the Middle Ages, which they identified with the Spanish tradition of the primitive peasant community. Their favorite slogan was the Free Commune. Mikhail Bakunin was the founder of the Spanish collectivist, syndicalist and internationalist workers' movement. Those anarchists tended to follow him and his disciple Ricardo Mella. 35. They were concerned with economic unification and believed that a long transitional period would be necessary during which it would be wiser to reward labor according to the hours worked and not according to need. They envisaged the economic structure of the future as a combination of local trade union groupings and federations of branches of industry. 35. In 1932, the Spanish anarchist theoretician Isaac Porrent published an outline of anarcho-communism, and its ideas were taken up by the Saragossa Congress of the Confederación Nacional del Trabajo in May 1936. 35. The Spanish anarchist economist Diego Abad de Santillán published an influential treatise on economics, El Organismo Económico de la Revolución, the economic organization of the revolution. 35. He saw the following. Our ideal is the commune which is associated, federated, integrated into the total economy of the country, and of other countries in a state of revolution. To replace the explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Single owner by a hydra-headed owner is not collectivism, is not self-management. The land, the factories, the mines, the means of transport are the product of the work of all and must be at the service of all. Nowadays the economy is neither local, nor even national, but worldwide. The characteristic feature of modern life is the cohesion of all the productive and distributive forces. A socialized economy, directed and planned, is an imperative necessity and corresponds to the trend of development of the modern economic world. 35. Santillán was to play an important part in the Spanish Revolution. He became a member of the Central Committee of the Anti-Fascist Militia, a member of the Catalan Economic Council and Economics Minister of the Catalan government. 35. Anarchist historian George Woodcock reports the following. For several months the armed forces in these regions were mostly anarchist-controlled militia units. The factories were largely taken over by the workers and run by CNT committees, while hundreds of villages either shared out or collectivized the land, and many of them attempted to set up libertarian communes of the kind advocated by Kropotkin. The beginnings of collectivization seem to have been similar in villages and factories. The landlords in the villages had fled, the civil guards had been killed or chased away, and the village syndicate would transform itself into a popular assembly in which every villager could participate directly in the affairs of the community. An administrative committee would be elected, but this would operate under the constant supervision of the population, meeting at least once a week in full assembly to hasten the achievement of free communism. In the factories the process was similar, with a workers' committee becoming responsible to the General Assembly of the syndicate, and technicians, in a few cases the former owners or managers, planning production in accordance with the workers' views. 17. Theoretical Economic Systems, edit. In a chronological and theoretical sense, there are classical, those created throughout the 19th century, and post-classical anarchist schools, those created since the mid-20th century and after. Classical Theoretical Economic Systems, edit. See also, Classical Anarchism. Mutualism, edit. Main article, Mutualism, Economic Theory. Mutualism is an anarchist school of thought which can be traced to the writings of Pierre-Joseph Proudhon, who envisioned a society where each person might possess a means of production Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Either individually or collectively, with trade representing equivalent amounts of labor in the free market. 36. Integral to the scheme was the establishment of a mutual credit bank which would lend to producers at a minimal interest rate only high enough to cover the costs of administration. 37. Mutualism is based on a labor theory of value which holds that when labor or its product is sold, in exchange it ought to receive goods or services embodying the amount of labor necessary to produce an article of exactly similar and equal utility. 38. Some mutualists believe that if the state did not intervene as a result of increased competition in the marketplace, individuals would receive no more income than that in proportion to the amount of labor they exert. 39. Mutualists oppose the idea of individuals receiving an income through loans, investments and rent, as they believe these individuals are not laboring. Some of them argue that if state intervention ceased, these types of incomes would disappear due to increased competition in capital. 40. Although Proudhon opposed this type of income, he expressed, "I never meant to forbid or suppress, by sovereign decree, ground rent and interest on capital. I believe that all these forms of human activity should remain free and optional for all." 41. Insofar as they ensure the workers' right to the full product of their labor, mutualists support markets and private property in the product of labor. However, they argue for conditional titles to land, whose private ownership is legitimate only so long as it remains in use or occupation, which Proudhon called possession. 42. Proudhon's mutualism supports labor-owned cooperative firms and associations. 43. For we need not hesitate, for we have no choice, it is necessary to form an association among workers. Because without that, they would remain related as subordinates and superiors, and there would ensue two castes of masters and wage workers, which is repugnant to a free and democratic society, and so it becomes necessary for the workers to form themselves into democratic societies, with equal conditions for all members, on pain of a relapse into feudalism. 44. Evolution, edit. As a term, mutualism has seen a variety of related uses. Charles Fourier first used the French term mutualisme in 1822-45, although the reference was not to an economic system. The first use of the noun mutualist was in the New Harmony Gazette by an American Owenite in 1826. 46. In the early 1830s, a labor organization in Lyons, France called themselves the Mutualists. Pierre Joseph Proudhon was involved with the Lyons Mutualists and later adopted the name to describe his own teachings. 19. In What is Mutualism, Clarence Lee Swartz gives his own account of the origin of the term, claiming that he word mutualism seems to have been first used by John Gray, an English writer, in 1832. 20. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. What is property? Influential anarchist work by Pierre-Joseph Proudhon. By 1846, Proudhon was speaking of mutualite in his writings and used the term mutualism at least as early as 1848 in his Programme Révolutionnaire. In 1850, William Batchelder Greene used the term mutualism to describe a mutual credit system. similar to that of Proud Hun. Also in 1850, the American newspaper The Spirit of the Age, edited by William Henry Channing, published Proposals for a Mutualist Township by Joshua King Ingalls, 47, and Albert Brisbane, 48, together with works by Proud Hun, 49, Green, P. Leras and others. For American anarchist historian Eunice Minot Scuster, it is apparent that Proud Hunian anarchism was to be found in the United States at least as early as 1848 and that it was not conscious of its affinity to the individualist anarchism of Josiah Warren and Stephen Pearl Andrews. William B. Greene presented this Proud Hunian mutualism in its purest and most systematic form. 50. Mutualists argue that free banking should be taken back by the people to establish systems of free credit. They contend that banks have a monopoly on credit, just as capitalists have a monopoly on land. Kevin Carson is a contemporary mutualist and author of studies in mutualist political economy. 51. Carson holds that capitalism, has been founded on an act of robbery as massive as feudalism and argues that capitalism could not exist in the absence of a state. He says that, it is state intervention that distinguishes capitalism from the free market. 52. As Robert Graham notes, Proud Hun's market socialism is indissolubly linked to his notions of industry democracy and workers' self-management. 53. K. Stephen Vincent notes in his in-depth analysis of this aspect of Proud Hun's ideas that Proud Hun consistently advanced a program of industrial democracy which would return control and direction of the economy to the workers. For Proud Hun, strong workers' associations would enable the workers to determine jointly by election how the enterprise was to be directed and operated on a day-to-day basis. 54. Collectivist Anarchism, edit. Main article, Collectivist Anarchism. Collectivist anarchism is a revolutionary, 55, doctrine that advocates the abolition of both the state and private ownership of the means of production. Instead, it envisions the means of production being owned collectively and controlled and managed by the producers themselves. For the collectivization of the means of production, it was originally envisaged that workers will revolt and forcibly collectivize the means of production. 55. Once collectivization takes place, workers' salaries would be determined in democratic organizations based on the amount of time they contributed to production. These salaries would be used to purchase goods in a communal market. 56. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Mikhail Bakunin with fellow members of the International Workingmen's Association in Basel. This contrasts with anarcho-communism, where wages would be abolished and where individuals would take freely from a storehouse of goods to each according to his need. Notwithstanding the title, Mikhail Bakunin's collectivist anarchism is thus seen as a blend of individualism and collectivism. 57. Criticism of Marxism and relationship with other anarchist classical currents, edit. The collectivist anarchists at first used the term collectivism to distinguish themselves from the mutualism of the followers of Pierre Joseph Proud Hun and the state socialists associated with Karl Marx. Mikhail Bakunin wrote that we shall always protest against anything that may in any way resemble communism or state socialism, which Bakunin regarded as fundamentally authoritarian. Federalism, Socialism, and Antitheologism. 1867. 58. The dispute between Bakunin and Marx highlighted the differences between anarchism and Marxism. Bakunin argued, against certain ideas of a number of Marxists, that not all revolutions need be violent. He also strongly rejected Marx's concept of the dictatorship of the proletariat, a concept that vanguardist socialism including Marxism-Leninism would use to justify one-party rule from above by a party claiming to represent the proletariat. 59. Bakunin insisted that revolutions must be led by the people directly while any enlightened elite must only exert influence by remaining invisible, not imposed on anyone, and deprived of all official rights and significance. 60. He held that the state should be immediately abolished because all forms of government eventually lead to oppression. 59. Bakunin has sometimes been called the first theorist of the new class, meaning that a class of intellectuals and bureaucrats running the state in the name of the people or the proletariat, but in reality in their own interests alone. Bakunin argued that the state has always been the patrimony of some privileged class, a priestly class, an aristocratic class, a bourgeois class. And finally, when all the other classes have exhausted themselves, the state then becomes the patrimony of the bureaucratic class and then falls or, if you will, rises to the position of a machine. 61. Bakunin also had a different view as compared to Marx's on the revolutionary potential of the lumpen proletariat and the proletariat. As such, B.Uth agreed that the proletariat would play a key role, but for Marx the proletariat was the exclusive, leading revolutionary agent. While Bakunin entertained the possibility that the peasants and even the lumpen proletariat, the unemployed, common criminals, etc., could rise to the occasion. 62. Bakunin considers workers' integration in capital as destructive of more primary revolutionary forces. For Bakunin, the revolutionary archetype is found in a peasant milieu, which is presented as having long-standing. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Insurrectionary traditions, as well as a communist archetype in its current social form, the peasant commune, and amongst educated unemployed youth, assorted marginals from all classes, brigands, robbers, the impoverished masses, and those on the margins of society who have escaped, been excluded from, or not yet subsumed in the discipline of emerging industrial work, in short, all those whom Marx sought to include in the category of the lumpen proletariat. 63. The anti-authoritarian sections of the First International proclaimed at the St. Imier Congress, 1872, that the aspirations of the proletariat can have no purpose other than the establishment of an absolutely free economic organization and federation, founded upon the labor and equality of all, and absolutely independent of all political government, in which each worker will have the right to the enjoyment of the gross product of his labors and thereby the means of developing his full intellectual, material and moral powers in a collective setting. This revolutionary transformation could only be the outcome of the spontaneous action of the proletariat itself, its trades bodies and the autonomous communes. 29. A similar position was adopted by the Workers' Federation of the Spanish region in 1882 as articulated by anarchist veteran of the First International Wholesale UNAS. Pugels in his essay, Collectivism. 29. The difference between collectivist anarchism and anarcho-communism is that collectivist anarchism stresses collective ownership of productive, subsistence and distributory property, while anarcho-communism negates the concept of ownership in favor of usage or possession, with productive means being a possession not owned by any individual or particular group. 1564. Anarcho-communists believe that subsistence, productive and distributive property should be common or social possessions, while personal property should be private possessions. 16. Collectivist anarchists agree with this, but they disagree on the subject of remuneration. Some collectivist anarchists, such as Mikhail Bakunin, believe in the remuneration of labor, while anarcho-communists such as Peter Kropotkin believe that such remuneration would lead to the recreation of currency and that this would need a state. 65. The Anarchist FAQ compares and contrasts collectivist anarchism with communist anarchism this way. The major difference between collectivists and communists is over the question of money after a revolution. Anarcho-communists consider the abolition of money to be essential, while anarcho-collectivists consider the end of private ownership of the means of production to be the key. As Kropotkin noted, collectivist anarchism expresses a state of things in which all necessaries for production are owned in common by the labor groups and the free communes, while the ways of retribution, i.e. distribution, of labor, communist or otherwise, would be settled by each group for itself. 66. Thus, while communism and collectivism both organize production in common via producers' associations, they differ in how the goods produced will be distributed. Communism is based on free consumption of all, while collectivism is more likely to be based on the Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF distribution of goods according to the labor contributed. However, most anarcho-collectivists think that, over time, as productivity increases and the sense of community becomes stronger, money will disappear. 67. Anarcho-communism, edit. Main article, Anarcho-communism. Anarcho-communism, also known as anarchist communism and occasionally as free communism or libertarian communism, 68, is a theory of anarchism which advocates the abolition of the state, markets, money, capitalism and private property, while retaining respect for personal property, 69. And in favor of common ownership of the means of production, 70, 71, direct democracy and a horizontal network of voluntary associations and workers' councils with production and consumption, based on the guiding principle, from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. 72, 73. Some forms of anarcho-communism such as insurrectionary anarchism are strongly influenced by egoism and radical individualism, believing anarcho-communism is the best social system for the realization of individual freedom. 74, 75, 76, 77, excessive citations. Most anarcho-communists view anarcho-communism as a way of reconciling the opposition between the individual and society. 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, excessive citations. The abolition of wage labor is central to anarchist communism, with distribution of wealth being based on self-determined needs. people would be free to engage in whatever activities they found most fulfilling and would no longer have to engage in work for which they have neither the temperament nor the aptitude. 82. Anarcho-communists argue that there is no valid way of measuring the value of any one person's economic contributions because all wealth is a collective product of current and preceding generations. 83. Evolution and Role in Early 20th Century Revolutions, edit. Anarcho-communism developed out of radical socialist currents. After the French Revolution, 26, 84, but it was first formulated as such in the Italian section of the First International. 85. An early anarcho-communist was Joseph de Jacques, the first person to describe himself as libertarian. 25. Unlike Proudhon, he argued that it is not the product of his or her labor that the worker has a right to, but to the satisfaction of his or her needs, whatever may be their nature. 26, 27. Anarcho-communism as a coherent, modern economic political philosophy was first formulated in the Italian section of the First International by Carlo Caffro, Emilio Covli, Enrico Malatesta, Andrea Costa and other ex-Mazzinian Republicans. 85. Out of Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. The Conquest of Bread by Peter Kropotkin, an influential work which presents the economic vision of anarcho-communism. Respect for Mikhail Bakunin, they did not make their differences with collectivist anarchism explicit until after Bakunin's death. 86. The collectivist anarchists sought to collectivize ownership of the means of production while retaining payment proportional to the amount and kind of labor of each individual, but the anarcho-communists sought to extend the concept of collective ownership to the products of labor as well. While both groups argued against capitalism, the anarchist communists departed from Proudhon and Bakunin, who maintained that individuals have a right to the product of their individual labor, and to be remunerated for their particular contribution to production. As Malatesta put it, instead of running the risk of making a confusion in trying to distinguish what you and I each do, let us all work and put everything in common. In this way each will give to society all that his strength permits until enough is produced for everyone, and each will take all that he needs, limiting his needs only in those things of which there is not yet plenty for everyone. 87. The theoretical work of Peter Kropotkin took importance later as it expanded and developed pro-organizationalist and insurrectionary anti-organizationalist sections. 88. During the Russian Revolution, anarchists such as Nestor Makhno worked to create and defend anarcho-communism in Ukraine from 1919 before being conquered by the Bolsheviks in 1921. A commander of the Peasant Revolutionary Insurgent Army of Ukraine, Makhno led a guerrilla campaign opposing both the Bolshevik Reds and monarchist Whites. The revolutionary autonomous movement of which he was a part made various tactical military pacts while fighting various forces of reaction and organizing the Makhnovshchina, an anarchist society committed to resisting state authority, whether capitalist or Bolshevik. 89, 90. After successfully repelling Austro-Hungarian, White and Ukrainian nationalist forces, the Makhnovist militia forces and anarcho-communist territories in Ukraine were eventually crushed by Bolshevik military forces. In the Mexican Revolution, the Mexican Liberal Party was established and, during the early 1910s, led a series of military offensives leading to the conquest and occupation of certain towns and districts in Baja California with the leadership of anarcho-communist Ricardo Flores Magón. 91. Kropotkin's The Conquest of Bread, which Flores Magón considered a kind of anarchist Bible, served as basis for the short-lived revolutionary communes in Baja California during the Magonista Revolt of 1911. 91. To date, the best-known examples of an anarcho-communist society, i.e. established around the ideas as they exist today and achieving worldwide attention and knowledge in the historical canon, are the anarchist territories during the Spanish Revolution, 92, and the Marknovshchina during the Russian Revolution. Through the efforts and influence of the Spanish anarchists during the Spanish Revolution within the Spanish Civil War starting in 1936, anarcho-communism existed in most of Aragon, parts of the Levante and Andalusia as well as in the stronghold of anarchist Catalonia. Before being crushed by the combined forces of the regime that won the war, Hitler, Mussolini. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Michael Albert, contemporary anarchist economist proponent of the Perkin system. Spanish Communist Party repression, backed by the Soviet Union, as well as economic and armaments blockades from the capitalist countries and the Spanish Republic itself. 93. Post-classical theoretical economic systems, edit. See also, contemporary anarchism and post-classical anarchism. Participatory economics, edit. Main article, Perkin. Participatory economics, often abbreviated Perkin, is an economic system proposed by activist and political theorist Michael Albert and radical economist Robin Harnell. For Albert, participatory economics and participatory society provide a worthy, viable, and even necessary and potentially sufficient anarchist revolutionary vision. 94. It uses participatory decision making as an economic mechanism to guide the production, consumption and allocation of resources in a given society. Proposed as an alternative to contemporary capitalist market economies and also an alternative to centrally planned socialism, it is described as an anarchistic economic vision. 95. Free market anarchism, edit. Main article, Free market anarchism. See also, anarcho-capitalism and left-wing market anarchism. Further information, anarchism and capitalism and anarcho-capitalism and anarchism. Free market anarchism, based on the economic theories of mutualism and individualist anarchism, is a revival of such free market anarchist theories. It encompasses diverse economic theories like those proposed by individualist anarchists and libertarian socialists such as the Europeans Emile Armand, Thomas Hodgkin, Miguel Jiménez Igualada and Pierre-Joseph Proudhon, or the Americans Stephen Pearl Andrews, William Batchelder Greene, Lysander Spooner, Benjamin Tucker and Josiah Warren, among others. 96, 97, 98, 99, excessive citations, and various anti-capitalists. Left libertarians and left-wing market anarchists such as Kevin Carson, 100, 101, 102, Gary Chartier, 103, 104, Samuel Edward Conkin 3, 105, 106, and Chris Matthew Ciabarra. 107. Anarcho-capitalism advocates the elimination of the public sector in favor of a laissez-faire Economic system, 108, 109, and is associated with individuals such as David D. Friedman, 110, and Murray Rothbard. 111. In an anarcho-capitalist society, law enforcement, courts and all other security services would be funded through the marketplace rather than through confiscatory taxation and explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Emma Goldman famously denounced wage slavery by money would be privately and competitively provided in an open market. Anarcho-capitalism, developed from Austrian school economics, study of law and economics and public choice theory. 112. Since employers are generally categorized as rulers in political sociology and always in anarchist theory, anarchists do not associate anarcho-capitalism with anarchist thought. The belief in the need of a police force, a kind of centralized law enforcement, to prevent crime, whether privatized or not, has been criticized by anarchists as constituting a state since police are a group with a monopoly on force. The majority of anarchist theorists do not consider anarcho-capitalism as a part of the anarchist movement due to the fact that anarchism has historically been an anti-capitalist movement and see it incompatible with capitalism. 11, 113, 12. Excessive citations. While inspired by individualist anarchists such as Lysander Spooner and Benjamin Tucker, both espoused mutualism and criticized wage labor. 114, 115. Rothbard argued that individualist anarchism is different from anarcho-capitalism and capitalism because the individualist anarchists retained the labor theory of value and socialist doctrines. 116, 117. The really free market movement is a horizontally organized collective of individuals who form a temporary market based on an alternative gift economy. The movement aims to counteract capitalism in a proactive way by creating a positive example to challenge the myths of scarcity and competition. The name itself is a play on words as it is a reinterpretation and re-envisioning of free market, a term which generally refers to an economy of consumerism governed by supply and demand. 118. Issues and proposals, edit. Anarchist criticism of capitalism, edit. This section is duplicated in criticism of capitalism. The authors of an anarchist FAQ state that anarchists have long recognized that capitalism is by its very nature hierarchical. 1. The worker is subjected to the authority of the boss during working hours, sometimes outside work too. They state, this hierarchical control of wage labor has the effect of alienating workers from their own work, and so from themselves. Workers no longer govern themselves during work hours and so are no longer free. 1. So this is why capitalism, by treating labor as analogous to all other commodities, denies the key distinction between labor and other resources, that is to say its inseparability from its bearer. Labor, unlike other property, is endowed with will and agency. Thus when one speaks of selling labor there is a necessary subjugation of will, hierarchy. Creative, self-managed work is. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Saying, the only difference is that you are hired slaves instead of block slaves. 119. a source of pride and joy and part of what it means to be fully human. Wrenching control of work from the hands of the worker profoundly harms his or her mental and physical health. 120. They also establish the following. Capitalism itself was created by state violence and the destruction of traditional ways of life, and social interaction was part of that task. From the start, bosses spent considerable time and energy combating attempts of working people to join together to resist the hierarchy they were subjected to and reassert human values. Such forms of free association between equals, such as trade unions, were combated, just as attempts to regulate the worse excesses of the system by democratic governments. Indeed, capitalists prefer centralized, elitist and forward/or authoritarian regimes precisely because they are sure to be outside of popular control. See section B.2.5. They are the only way that contractual relations based on market power could be enforced on an unwilling population. Capitalism was born under such states, and as well as backing fascist movements, they made high profits in Nazi Germany and fascist Italy. Today many corporations regularly do business with totalitarian and authoritarian regimes again, because it is profitable to do so. Indeed, there is a trend by US corporations to invest in such countries. Perhaps unsurprisingly, as such regimes are best able to enforce the necessary conditions to commodify labor fully. 1. For the influential German individualist anarchist philosopher Max Stirner, private property is a spook which lives by the grace of law, and it becomes mine only by effect of the law. In other words, private property exists purely through the protection of the state, through the state's grace. Recognizing its need for state protection, Stirner is also aware that it need not make any difference to the good citizens who protects them and their principles, whether an absolute king or a constitutional one, a republic, if only they are protected. And what is their principle, whose protector they always love? Not that of labor, rather it is interest-bearing possession. Laboring capital, therefore, labor certainly, yet little or none at all of one's own, but labor of capital and of the subject laborers. 18. French anarchist Pierre-Joseph Proudhon opposed government privilege that protects capitalist, banking and land interests as well as the accumulation or acquisition of property, and any form of coercion that led to it, which he believed hampers competition and keeps wealth in the hands of the few. The Spanish individualist anarchist Miguel Jiménez Igualada sees capitalism as an effect of government. The disappearance of government means capitalism falls from its pedestal vertiginously. That which we call capitalism is not something else but a product of the state, within which the only thing that is being pushed forward is profit, good or badly acquired. And so to fight against capitalism is a pointless task, since be it state capitalism or enterprise capitalism, as long as government exists, exploiting capital will exist. The fight, but of consciousness, is against the state. 14. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Within anarchism there emerged a critique of wage slavery which refers to a situation perceived as quasi-voluntary slavery. 3. Where a person's livelihood depends on wages, especially when the dependence is total and immediate. 121, 122. It is a negatively connoted term used to draw an Analogy between slavery and wage labor by focusing on similarities between owning and renting a person. The term wage slavery has been used to criticize economic exploitation and social stratification, with the former seen primarily as unequal bargaining power between labor and capital. Particularly when workers are paid comparatively low wages, for example in Sweatshop 123, and the latter as a lack of workers' self-management, fulfilling job choices and leisure in an economy. 124, 125, 126. Libertarian socialists believe that if freedom is valued, then society must work towards a system in which individuals have the power to decide economic issues along with political issues. Libertarian socialists seek to replace unjustified authority with direct democracy, voluntary federation and popular autonomy in all aspects of life. 127, including physical communities and economic enterprises. With the advent of the Industrial Revolution, thinkers such as Proudhon and Marx elaborated the comparison between wage labor and slavery in the context of a critique of societal property not intended for active personal use. 128, 129. Luddites emphasized the dehumanization brought about by machines, while later Emma Goldman famously denounced wage slavery by saying, "The only difference is that you are hired slaves instead of block slaves." 130. Goldman believed that the economic system of capitalism was incompatible with human liberty. "The only demand that property recognizes," she wrote in Anarchism and other essays, "is its own gluttonous appetite for greater wealth, because wealth means power, the power to subdue, to crush, to exploit, the power to enslave, to outrage, to degrade." 131. She also argued that capitalism dehumanized workers, turning the producer into a mere particle of a machine, with less will and decision than his master of steel and iron. 131. Noam Chomsky contends that there is little moral difference between chattel slavery and renting oneself to an owner or wage slavery. He feels that it is an attack on personal integrity that undermines individual freedom. He holds that workers should own and control their workplace. 132. Many libertarian socialists argue that large-scale voluntary associations should manage industrial manufacture while workers retain rights to the individual products of their labor. 133. As such, they see a distinction between the concepts of private property and personal possession. Whereas private property grants an individual exclusive control over a thing whether it is in use or not, and regardless of its productive capacity, possession grants no rights to things that are not in use. 134. In addition to anarchist Benjamin Tucker's Big Four monopolies, land, money, tariffs and patents, that have emerged under capitalism, neo-mutualist economist Kevin Carson argues that the state has also transferred wealth to the wealthy by subsidizing organizational centralization in the form of transportation and communication subsidies. He believes that Tucker overlooked this issue due to Tucker's focus on individual market transactions, whereas Carson also focuses on organizational issues. The theoretical sections of studies in mutualist political economy are presented as an attempt to integrate marginalist critiques into the labor theory of value. 135. Carson holds that Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Arising as a new class society directly from the old class society of the Middle Ages, capitalism was founded on an act of robbery as massive as the earlier feudal conquest of the land. It has been sustained to the present by continual state intervention to protect its system of privilege without which its survival is unimaginable. 136. Carson coined the pejorative term vulgar libertarianism, a phrase that describes the use of a free market rhetoric in defense of corporate capitalism and economic inequality. See economic liberalism and right libertarianism. According to Carson, the term is derived from the phrase vulgar political economy, which Karl Marx described as an economic order that deliberately becomes increasingly apologetic and makes strenuous attempts to talk out of existence the ideas which contain the contradictions existing in economic life. 137. Economics as Anarchist Strategy, edit. Main article, Economic Secession. Economic secession has been variously defined by sources. In its narrowest sense, it is abstention from the state's economic system, for instance by replacing the use of government money with barter, local exchange trading systems, or commodity money, such as gold. As such, anarchists can often be found advocating for mass refusal and the withdrawal of our participation, sometimes in the form of general strikes, sometimes, as in the case of the illegalists, in the forms of direct expropriations with the support and participation of social movements, or not, sometimes in the forms of occupations and the taking of space, and still other times in advocating for creating alternatives to capitalist relations in the here and now, and so on. 138. Some anarchists believe that it is not radical political activity that will transform society, but radical economic activity that will make true change. 139. They regard boycotts, consumer advocacy and class action lawsuits to be merely liberal actions that do not address the core problem, which is capitalism itself. Italian anarcho-communist Enrico Malatesta argued that each victory, however small, gained by the workers against their exploiters, each decrease of profit, every bit of wealth taken from the individual owners and put at the disposal of all, shall be a progress, a forward step towards anarchism. 140. Participatory economics addresses the division of labor question by advocating balanced job complexes wherein all workers at a production facility share in all aspects of labor, i.e. everyone takes part in labor, management, maintenance and all related work to ensure equality and that skills are shared amongst workers. Some anarchists contend that changing personal consumption habits to minimize, or eliminate, involvement in the prevailing capitalist economy is essential to practicing anarchism in their lives. Withdrawing from the system by living on scavenged, stolen, or scammed resources is often touted by individuals and groups influenced by the situationists such as Crime Inc. as a viable means of survival and non-participation in the system. 141. Anarchist Value Theory, edit. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Sample labor for labor note for the Cincinnati Times Store. Scanned from Equitable Commerce, 1846, by Josiah Warren. Pierre Joseph Proudhon's Mutualism, 142, and American individualist anarchists such as Josiah Warren, Lysander Spooner and Benjamin Tucker, 143, adopted the liberal labor theory of value of classical economics, but they used it to criticize capitalism, instead favoring a non-capitalist market system. 144. Egoist anarchist Max Stirner did not adhere to anything close to the labor theory of value and affirmed that the only real base for possession is might over it. 145. Collectivist anarchism, as defended by Mikhail Bakunin, defended a form of the labor theory of value when it advocated a system where all necessaries for production are owned in common by the labor groups and the free communes, based on the distribution of goods according to the labor contributed. 146. Anarcho-communism, as defended by Peter Kropotkin and Enrico Malatesta, rejected the labor theory of value and exchange value itself, advocated a gift economy and to base distribution on need. 147. Ethics of Pricing, edit. Main article, Cost the limit of price. Josiah Warren termed the phrase cost the limit of price, with cost here referring not to monetary price paid but the labor one exerted to produce an item. 23. This understanding of cost is congruent with that of the classical economist Adam Smith, who said, the real price of everything, what everything really costs to the man who wants to acquire it, is the toil and trouble of acquiring it. However, Warren reached different conclusions, as he believed that goods and services should trade according to how much labor was exerted to produce them and bring them to market, instead of according to how individuals believed them to be subjectively worth. Therefore, he proposed a system to pay people with certificates indicating how many hours of work they did. They could exchange the notes at local time stores for goods that took the same amount of time to produce. 21. To charge more labor for something that entailed less labor was cannibalism, according to him. 148. Moreover, he believed that trading according to cost the limit of price would promote increasing efficiency in an economy, as he explains in Equitable Commerce. If cost is made the limit of price, everyone becomes interested in reducing cost, by bringing in all the economies, all the facilities to their aid. But, on the contrary, if cost does not govern the price, but everything is priced at what it will bring, there are no such co-operating interests. If I am to have my supply of flour at cost, then, any facility I can afford. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. To the wheat grower, reduces the cost to me, and it does the same for all who have any portion of the wheat. I am promoting all their interests while pursuing my own. Now if the wheat were not to be sold to us at cost, but at whatever it would bring according to our necessities, then none of us would have any interest in affording facilities, repairing breaches, nor in any other way cooperating with the producer of it. The same motive would act in the production, preservation, and use of everything. 149. Workers' Issues and Anarcho-Syndicalism, edit. Main article, Anarcho-Syndicalism. Anarcho-syndicalism is a branch of anarchism which focuses on the labor movement. 150. Anarcho-syndicalists seek to abolish the wage system, regarding it as wage slavery and state or private ownership of the means of production, which they believe lead to class divisions. Not all seek to abolish money per se. Ralph Chaplin states that the ultimate aim of the general strike as regards wages is to give to each producer the full product of his labor. The demand for better wages becomes revolutionary only when it is coupled with the demand that the exploitation of labor must cease. 151. Additionally, anarcho-syndicalists regard the state as a profoundly anti-worker institution. They view the primary purpose of the state as being the defense of private property and therefore of economic, social and political privilege, even when such defense denies its citizens the ability to enjoy material independence and the social autonomy which springs from it. 152. In contrast to other bodies of thought, Marxism-Leninism being a prime example, anarcho-syndicalists deny that there can be any kind of workers' state, or a state which acts in the interests of workers, as opposed to those of the rich and powerful. Reflecting the anarchist philosophy from which it draws its primary inspiration, anarcho-syndicalism holds to the idea that power corrupts. 153. Although anarcho-syndicalism originated close to the beginning of the 20th century, it remains a popular and active school of anarchism today and has many supporters as well as many currently active organizations. Anarcho-syndicalist trade unionists, being social anarchists, vary in their points of view on anarchist economic arrangements from a collectivist anarchism type economic system to an anarcho-communist economic system. 154. Concept of wage slavery, edit. Main article, Wage slavery. Wage slavery refers to a situation perceived as quasi-voluntary slavery, 3, where a person's livelihood depends on wages, especially when the dependence is total and immediate. 121. 155. It is a negatively connoted term used to draw an analogy between slavery and wage labor by focusing on similarities between owning and renting a person. The term wage slavery has been used to explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Criticize economic exploitation and social stratification, with the former seen primarily as unequal bargaining power between labor and capital, particularly when workers are paid comparatively low wages, for example in sweatshop, 156, and the latter as a lack of workers' self-management, fulfilling job choices and leisure in an economy. 124, 125, 126. The criticism of social stratification covers a wider range of employment choices bound by the pressures of a hierarchical society to perform otherwise unfulfilling work that deprives humans of their species character. 157, not only under threat of starvation or poverty, but also of social stigma and status diminution. 158, 159, 160. The exchange of money and debt for work traces back to the disintegration of the playful, 161, work in hunter-gatherer gift economies and the establishment of prostitution as a fundamental feature of human civilization. 162. Similarities between wage labor and slavery were noted in ancient Rome by Cicero, 163, while the pervasive practice of voluntary slavery in medieval Russia indicates the previous historical coexistence of slavery and voluntary choice. 164. Before the American Civil War, Southern defenders of African American slavery invoked the concept of wage slavery to favorably compare the condition of their slaves to workers in the North. 165, 166, with the advent of the Industrial Revolution, thinkers such as Proudhon and Marx elaborated the comparison between wage labor and slavery in the context of a critique of societal property not intended for active personal use. 128, 129, while Luddites emphasized the dehumanization brought about by machines. Emma Goldman famously denounced wage slavery by saying, "The only difference is that you are hired slaves instead of block slaves." 119. The introduction of wage labor in 18th-century Britain was met with resistance, giving rise to the principles of syndicalism. 167, 168, 169, 170, excessive citations. Historically, some labor organizations and individual social activists have espoused workers' self-management or worker cooperatives as possible alternatives to wage labor. 125, 169. Collectivizations and workers' control, edit. For Proudhon, mutualism involved creating industrial democracy, a system where workplaces would be handed over to democratically organized workers' associations. We want these associations to be models for agriculture, industry and trade, the pioneering core of that vast federation of companies and societies woven into the common cloth of the democratic social republic. 171. He urged workers to form themselves into democratic societies, with equal conditions for all members, on pain of a relapse into feudalism. This would result in, c. capitalistic and proprietary exploitation, stopped everywhere, the wage system abolished, equal and just exchange guaranteed. 172. Workers' control can be contrasted to control of the economy via the state, such as nationalization and central planning, see state socialism, and private control of the means of production as found in capitalism. A worker cooperative is a cooperative owned and democratically managed by its worker owners. This control may be exercised in a number of ways. A cooperative enterprise may explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Mean a firm where every worker owner participates in decision-making in a democratic fashion, or it may refer to one in which managers and administration is elected by every worker owner, and finally, it can refer to a situation in which managers are considered and treated as workers of the firm. 173. In traditional forms of worker cooperative, all shares are held by the workforce with no outside or consumer owners, and each member has one voting share. In practice, control by worker owners may be exercised through individual, collective or majority ownership by the workforce, or the retention of individual, collective or majority voting rights, exercised on a one-member one-vote basis. 173. A worker cooperative therefore has the characteristic that the majority of its workforce own shares, and the majority of shares are owned by the workforce. 174. Nevertheless, anarcho-communism has been critical of workers' ownership of large means of production for the following reasons, whereas the syndicalist alternative reprivatizes the economy into self-managed collectives and opens the way to their degeneration into traditional forms of Private property, whether collectively owned or not. Libertarian municipalism politicizes the economy and dissolves it into the civic domain. Neither factory or land appear as separate interests within the communal collective. Nor can workers, farmers, technicians, engineers, professionals, and the like perpetuate their vocational identities as separate interests that exist apart from the citizen body in face-to-face assemblies. Property is integrated into the commune as a material constituent of its libertarian institutional framework, indeed as a part of a larger whole that is controlled by the citizen body in assembly as citizens, not as vocationally oriented interest groups. 175. Forms of exchange, edit. Anarchist economist Kevin Carson manifests that local currencies, barter networks and mutual credit clearing systems are a solution to a basic problem, a world in which there is a lot of work to be done, but there is simply no money around to bring the people and the work together. 176. Labor notes and local exchange trading systems, edit. Main articles, labor notes, currency, and local exchange trading system. Labor notes are an alternative currency based on exchange of hours of labor. Josiah Warren is widely regarded as the first American anarchist. 21. Josiah Warren termed the phrase cost the limit of price, with cost here referring not to monetary price paid but the labor one exerted to produce an item. 23. Therefore, he proposed a system to pay people with labor notes indicating how many hours of work they did. They could exchange the notes at local time stores for goods that took the same amount of time to produce. 21. Credit and banking, edit. Main articles, free banking and mutual credit. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. William Batchelder Greene. American individualist anarchist. Activist and theorist for free banking. In a session of the French legislature, Proudhon proposed a government-imposed income tax to fund his mutual banking scheme, with some tax brackets reaching as high as 33.13% and 50%, which was turned down by the legislature. 177. This income tax Proudhon proposed to fund his bank was to be levied on rents, interest, debts and salaries. 178, 179. Specifically, Proudhon's proposed law would have required all capitalists and stockholders to disburse 1/6 of their income to their tenants and debtors and another 1/6 to the national treasury to fund the bank. 180. This scheme was vehemently objected to by others in the legislature, including Frederick Bastiat. 180. The reason given for the income tax's rejection was that it would result in economic ruin and that it violated the right of property. 181. In his debates with Bastiat, Proudhon did once propose funding a national bank with a voluntary tax of 1%. 182. Proudhon also argued for the abolition of all taxes. 183. During the episode known as the Spanish Revolution, contemporary anarchist theorist Peter Gelderloos reports the following. For better or worse, the Spanish revolutionaries also experimented with peasant banks, labor banks, and councils of credit and exchange. The Levant Federation of peasant collectives started a bank organized by the Bank Workers' Union to help farmers draw from a broad pool of social resources needed for certain infrastructure or resource-intensive types of farming. The Central Labour Bank of Barcelona moved credit from more prosperous collectives to socially useful collectives in need. Cash transactions were kept to a minimum, and credit was transferred as credit. The Labour Bank also arranged foreign exchange, and importation and purchase of raw materials. Where possible, payment was made in commodities, not in cash. The bank was not a for-profit enterprise, it charged only 1% interest to defray expenses. Diego Abad de Santillán, the anarchist economist, said in 1936, credit will be a social function and not a private speculation or usury. Credit will be based on the economic possibilities of society and not on interests or profit. The Council of Credit and Exchange will be like a thermometer of the products and needs of the country. 52. In this experiment, money functioned as a symbol of social support and not as a symbol of ownership. It signified resources being transferred between unions of producers rather than investments by speculators. Within a complex industrial economy, such banks make exchange and production more efficient, though they also present the risk of centralization or the re-emergence of capital as a social force. Furthermore, efficient production and exchange as a value should be viewed with suspicion, at the least, by people interested in liberation. There are a number of methods that could prevent. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Watercolor by James G. Swan. Depicting the Klallam people of Chief Chetsimokha at Port Townsend, with one of Chetsimokha's wives distributing potlatch. Institutions such as labor banks from facilitating the return of capitalism, though unfortunately the onslaught of totalitarianism from both the fascists and communists deprived Spanish anarchists of the chance to develop them. These might include rotating and mixing tasks to prevent the emergence of a new managing class, developing fragmented structures that cannot be controlled at a central or national level, promoting as much decentralization and simplicity as possible, and maintaining a firm tradition that common resources and instruments of social wealth are never for sale. Peter Gelderloos, Anarchy Works, 184. Gift Economy, edit. Main article, Gift Economy. In anthropology and the social sciences, a gift economy, or gift culture, is a mode of exchange where valuable goods and services are regularly given without any explicit agreement for immediate or future rewards, i.e. no formal quid pro quo exists. 185. Ideally, voluntary and recurring gift exchange circulates and redistributes wealth throughout a community and serves to build societal ties and obligations. 186. In contrast to a barter economy or a market economy, social norms and custom governs gift exchange, rather than an explicit exchange of goods or services for money or some other commodity. 187. Traditional societies dominated by gift exchange were small in scale and geographically remote from each other. As states formed to regulate trade and commerce within their boundaries, market exchange came to dominate. Nonetheless, the practice of gift exchange continues to play an important role in modern society. 188. One prominent example is scientific research, which can be described as a gift economy. 189. Contrary to popular conception, there is no evidence that societies relied primarily on barter before using money for trade. 190. Instead, non-monetary societies operated largely along the principles of gift economics and in more complex economies on debt. 191. 192. When barter did in fact occur, it was usually between either complete strangers or would-be enemies. 193. Free shops, edit. Main article, Giveaway shop. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Inside Utrecht Giveaway shop, where the banner reads, "The earth has enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed." The Anarchist 1960s countercultural group The Diggers, 194. Opened free stores which simply gave away their stock. Provided free food, distributed free drugs, gave away money, organized free music concerts, and performed works of political art. 195. The Diggers took their name from the original English diggers led by Gerard Winstanley, 196, and sought to create a mini-society free of money and capitalism. 197. Peer-to-peer, edit. See also, copyleft, digital commons, economics, knowledge commons, and social peer-to-peer processes. The concept has inspired new structures and philosophies in many areas of human interaction. P2P. Human dynamic affords a critical look at current authoritarian and centralized social structures. Peer-to-peer is also a political and social program for those who believe that in many cases, peer-to-peer modes are a preferable option. Anarchist scholar Yuri Gordon has said that the collaborative development of free software like the Linux operating system and applications such as OpenOffice clearly approximate an informational anarchist communism. Moreover, for anarchists it is precisely the logic of expropriation and electronic piracy that enables a radical political extension of the cultural ideals of the free manipulation, circulation and use of information associated with the hacker ethic, Imanen 2001. The space of illegality created by P2P, peer-to-peer, file sharing, opens up the possibility, not only of the open circulation of freely given information and software as it is on the Internet today, but also of conscious copyright violation. The Internet, then, enables not only communist relations around information, but also the militant contamination and erosion of non-communist regimes of knowledge, a technological weapon to equalize access to information, eating away at intellectual property rights by rendering them unenforceable. 198. P2P is a specific form of relational dynamic, based on the assumed equipotency of its participants, organized through the free cooperation of equals in view of the performance of a common task, for the creation of a common good, with forms of decision-making and autonomy that are widely distributed throughout the network. There are three fundamental aspects of social P2P processes. 1. Peer production. The collaborative production of use value is open to participation and use to the widest possible number, as defined by Yochai Benkele, in his essay Coasts. Penguin. 199. 2. Peer governance. Production or project is governed by the community of producers themselves, not by market allocation or corporate hierarchy. 3. Peer property. The use value of property is freely accessible on a universal basis. Peer services and products are distributed through new modes of property, which are not. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Exclusive. The recognize individual authorship, i.e. the new general public license or the Creative Commons licenses. While many anarcho-communists are opposed to trade, some post-left, post-scarcity anarcho-communists and ones with syndicalist sympathies are not opposed to trade. Some support a non-monetary form of trade in the form of post-monetary trade unions and commons. Others such as Tiziana Terranova easily see anarcho-communism being compatible with a non-hierarchical, open access, free association, post-monetary form of trade such as P2P. 200. Coexistence of economic systems and economic pluralism, edit. See also, anarchism without adjectives. French anarchist without adjectives Max Nettlau addressed the issue of the coexistence of different economic systems as follows. Let me imagine myself for a moment living in a free society. I should certainly have different occupations, manual and mental, requiring strength or skill. It would be very monotonous if the 3 or 4 groups with whom I would work, for I hope there will be no syndicates then, would be organized on exactly the same lines. I rather think that different degrees or forms of communism will prevail in them. But might I not become tired of this, and wish for a spell of relative isolation, of individualism? So I might turn to one of the many possible forms of equal exchange individualism. Perhaps people will do one thing when they are young and another thing when they grow older. Those who are but indifferent workers may continue with their groups, those who are efficient will lose patience at always working with beginners and will go ahead by themselves, unless a very altruist disposition makes it a pleasure to them to act as teachers or advisors to younger people. I also think that at the beginning I should adopt communism with friends and individualism with strangers, and shape my future life according to experience. Thus, a free and easy change from one variety of communism to another, thence to any variety of individualism, and so on, would be the most obvious and elementary thing in a really free society, and if any group of people tried to check this, to make one system predominant, they would be as bitterly fought as revolutionists fight the present system. 201. French individualist anarchist Émile Armand argued for a pluralistic economic logic when he said, "Here and there everything happening here, everyone receiving what they need, there each one getting whatever is needed according to their own capacity. Here, gift and barter one product for another, there, exchange product for representative value. Here, the producer is the owner of the product, there, the product is put to the possession of the collectivity." 61. At the time of the Spanish Revolution led by the anarcho-syndicalist trade union CNT and by the FAI, the issue of the coexistence of different economic systems was addressed. Daniel Guerin in Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Anarchism, From Theory to Practice reports the following. Spanish anarcho-syndicalism had long been concerned to safeguard the autonomy of what it called affinity groups. there were many adepts of naturism and vegetarianism among its members, especially among the poor peasants of the South. Both these ways of living were considered suitable for the transformation of the human being in preparation for a libertarian society. At the Saragossa Congress, the members did not forget to consider the fate of groups of naturists and nudists, unsuited to industrialization. As these groups would be unable to supply all their own needs, the Congress anticipated that their delegates to the meetings of the Confederation of Communes would be able to negotiate special economic agreements with the other agricultural and industrial communes. On the eve of a vast, bloody, social transformation, the CNT did not think it foolish to try to meet the infinitely varied aspirations of individual human beings. 202. Commune, Federalism and Economic Democracy, edit. See also, Communization, Economic Democracy, Intentional Community, Libertarian Municipalism, Libertarian Socialist Decentralization, Social Ownership, and Socialist Federalism. Anarcho-communism has been critical of a simple call for workers' ownership of workplaces and their administration as cooperatives. Murray Bookchin has put it this way: what of the syndicalist ideal of collectivized self-managed enterprises that are coordinated by like occupations on a national level and coordinated geographically by collectives on a local level? Here, the traditional socialist criticism of this syndicalist form of economic management is not without its point. The corporate or private capitalist, worker-controlled or not, ironically, a technique in the repertoire of industrial management that is coming very much into vogue today as workplace democracy and employee ownership, and constitutes no threat whatever to private property and capitalism. In any case, economic democracy has not simply meant workplace democracy and employee ownership. Many workers, in fact, would like to get away from their factories if they could and find more creative artisanal types of work, not simply participate in planning their own misery. What economic democracy meant in its profoundest sense was free, democratic access to the means of life, the counterpart of political democracy, that is, the guarantee of freedom from material want. It is a dirty bourgeois trick, in which many radicals unknowingly participate, that economic democracy has been reinterpreted as employee ownership and workplace democracy and has come to mean workers' participation in profit sharing and industrial management rather than freedom from the tyranny of the factory, rationalized labor, and planned production, which is usually exploitative production with the complicity of the workers. 175. A common call within anarchism is for a confederal form in relationships of mutual aid and free association between communes as an alternative to the centralism of the nation-state. Peter Kropotkin thus suggested, representative government has accomplished its historical mission. It explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF has given a mortal blow to court rule, and by its debates it has awakened public interest in public questions. But to see in it the government of the future socialist society is to commit a gross error. Each economic phase of life implies its own political phase, and it is impossible to touch the very basis of the present economic life, private property, without a corresponding change in the very basis of the political organization. Life already shows in which direction the change will be made. Not in increasing the powers of the state, but in resorting to free organization and free federation in all those branches which are now considered as attributes of the state. 203. As such, no community can hope to achieve economic autarky, nor should it try to do so unless it wishes to become self-enclosed and parochial, not only self-sufficient. Hence the Confederation of Communes, the Commune of Communes, is reworked economically as well as politically into a shared universe of publicly managed resources. The management of the economy, precisely because it is a public activity, does not degenerate into privatized interactions between enterprises. Rather, it develops into confederalized interactions between municipalities. That is to say, the very elements of societal interaction are expanded from real or potential privatized components to institutionally real public components. Confederation becomes a public project by definition, not only because of shared needs and resources. If there is any way to avoid the emergence of the city-state, not to speak of self-serving bourgeois cooperatives, it is through a municipalization of political life that is so complete that politics embraces not only what we call the public sphere but material means of life as well. 175. Economic democracy as proposed by Takis Fotopoulos, 204, and Bookkin, 205, is a socio-economic philosophy that proposes to shift decision-making power from corporate shareholders to a larger group of public stakeholders that includes workers, customers, suppliers, neighbors and the broader public. No single definition or approach encompasses economic democracy, but most proponents claim that modern property relations externalize costs, subordinate the general well-being to private profit and deny the polity a democratic voice in economic policy decisions. 206. In addition to these moral concerns, economic democracy makes practical claims, such as that it can compensate for capitalism's claimedly inherent effective demand gap. 207. Proponents of economic democracy generally argue that modern capitalism tends to hinder or prevent society from earning enough income to purchase its output production. Corporate monopoly of common resources typically creates artificial scarcity, resulting in socio-economic imbalances that restrict workers from access to economic opportunity and diminish consumer purchasing power. 208. Economic democracy has been proposed as a component of larger socio-economic ideologies, as a standalone theory and as a variety of reform agendas. For example, as a means to securing full economic rights, it opens a path to full political rights, defined as including the former. 206. See also, edit. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Autonomism. Community-based economics. Decentrally planned economy. Distributism. Gandhian economics. Political economy. Prosumer. Socialist economics. References, edit. 1-ABCDEB.1.2 Is capitalism hierarchical? By an anarchist FAQ. Archived from the original on the 28th of April, 2014. Retrieved the 28th of April, 2014. 2-AB Meltzer, Albert, 2000. Anarchism, Arguments for and Against. AK Press. p. 50. The philosophy of anarcho-capitalism dreamed up by the libertarian New Right, has nothing to do with anarchism as known by the anarchist movement proper. 3 ABCD Ellerman 1992. 4 Crowder, George, 1991. Classical Anarchism, The Political Thought of Godwin, Proudhon, Bakunin. And Kropotkin. Oxford, Clarendon Press. pp. 85-86. ISBN 9780198277446. The ownership, anarchists oppose, is basically that which is unearned, including such things as interest on loans and income from rent. This is contrasted with ownership rights in those goods either produced by the work of the owner or necessary for that work, for example his dwelling house, land and tools. Proudhon initially refers to legitimate rights of ownership of these goods as possession, and although in his latter work he calls this property, the conceptual distinction remains the same. 5 Hargreaves, David H. London, 2019. Beyond Schooling, An Anarchist Challenge. London. Routledge. pp. 1991. ISBN 9780429582363. Ironically, Proudhon did not mean literally what he said. His boldness of expression was intended for emphasis, and by property he wished to be understood what he later called the sum of its abuses. He was denouncing the property of the man who uses it to exploit the labor of others without any effort on his own part, property distinguished by interest and rent, by the impositions of the non-producer on the producer. Towards property regarded as possession, the right of a man to control his dwelling and the land and tools he needs to live, Proudhon had no hostility. Indeed, he regarded it as the cornerstone of liberty, and his main criticism of the communists was that they wished to destroy it. 6 Mackay, Ian, 2008. An Anarchist FAQ. Why do anarchists oppose the current system? Why are anarchists against private property? Oakland/Edinburgh, AK Press. ISBN 978-1902593906. 7 Mackay, Ian, 2008. An Anarchist FAQ. Anarchism and Anarcho-Capitalism, Oakland/Edinburgh. AK Press. ISBN 978-1902593906. 8 Brooks, Frank H. 1994. The Individualist Anarchists, An Anthology of Liberty, 1881–1908. Transaction Publishers. p11. ISBN 1-56000-132-1. 9 Khan, Joseph, 2000. Anarchism, the Creed That Won't Stay Dead, The Spread of World Capitalism Resurrects a Long-Dormant Movement. The New York Times. No. 5 August. Moynihan, Colin, 2007. Book Fair unites anarchists. In spirit, anyway. The New York Times. No, the 16th of April. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 10 Garin, Daniel, 1970. Anarchism, From Theory to Practice. New York, Monthly Review Press. Archived from the original on the 6th of April, 2020. Retrieved the 7th of April, 2020. The anarchists were unanimous in subjecting authoritarian socialism to a barrage of severe criticism. At the time when they made violent and satirical attacks, these were not entirely well-founded, for those to whom they were addressed were either primitive or vulgar communists, whose thought had not yet been fertilized by Marxist humanism, or else, in the case of Marx and Engels themselves, were not as set on authority and state control as the anarchists made out. 11-AB In fact, few anarchists would accept the anarcho-capitalists into the anarchist camp, since they do not share a concern for economic equality and social justice. Their self-interested, calculating market men would be incapable of practicing voluntary cooperation and mutual aid. Anarcho-capitalists, even if they do reject the state, might therefore best be called right-wing libertarians rather than anarchists. Peter Marshall. Demanding the Impossible, A History of Anarchism. Harper Perennial. London. 2008 p. 565. 12-AB Libertarian and libertarianism are frequently employed by anarchists as synonyms for anarchist and anarchism, largely as an attempt to distance themselves from the negative connotations of anarchy and its derivatives. The situation has been vastly complicated in recent decades with the rise of anarcho-capitalism, minimal statism and an extreme right-wing laissez-faire philosophy advocated by such theorists as Murray Rothbard and Robert Nozick, and their adoption of the words libertarian and libertarianism. It has therefore now become necessary to distinguish between their right libertarianism and the left libertarianism of the anarchist tradition. Anarchist Seeds Beneath the Snow. Left Libertarian Thought and British Writers from William Morris to Colin Ward by David Goodway. Liverpool University Press. Liverpool. 2006. 13 Section F. Is anarcho-capitalism a type of anarchism? Archived 9 September 2019 at the Wayback Machine at an Anarchist FAQ. 14-AB El capitalismo es solo el efecto del gobierno, desaparecido el gobierno, el capitalismo caído su pedestal vertiginosamente, lo que llamamos capitalismo no es otra cosa que el producto del Estado, dentro del cual lo único que se cultiva es la ganancia, bien o mal habida. Luca, Pews, contra el capitalismo es tarea inútil, porque si capitalismo de Estado o capitalismo de empresa, mientras el gobierno exista, existirá el capital que explota. La lucha, pero de conciencias, es contra el Estado. Anarchismo by Miguel Jiménez Igualada, archived 31 January 2017 at the Wayback Machine. 15-AB Proudhon. What is Property? pp. 395-96. 16-AB What is Anarchism? p. 217. 17-AB George Woodcock. Anarchism, A History of Libertarian Ideas and Movements. 1962. 18-AB Irvin, Lorenzo Combor. G.6 What are the ideas of Max Stirner? In an Anarchist FAQ. Infosharp.org. Archived from the original on 23 November 2010. Retrieved 20 September 2010. 19-AB Woodcock, George. Anarchism, A History of Libertarian Ideas and Movements. Broadview Press. p. 100. 20-AB Swartz, Clarence Lee. What is Mutualism? 21-AB C.D.E. Palmer, Brian, 29 December 2010. What do anarchists want from us? Slate.com. Archived from the original on 1 September 2011. Retrieved 13 November 2012. 22 William Bailey, Josiah Warren, The First American Anarchist, a Sociological Study, archived 4 February 2012, at the Wayback Machine, Boston, Small, Maynard and Company, 1906, p. 20. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 23 ABC. A watch has a cost and a value. The cost consists of the amount of labor bestowed on the mineral or natural wealth, in converting it into metals. Warren, Josiah. Equitable Commerce. 24 Madison, Charles A. January 1945. Anarchism in the United States. Journal of the History of Ideas. 6, 153 do. 10.2307/27070055. JSTA 2707055. 25 AB. Joseph DeJack, De Elita Humane Male It Female Letter APJ. Proudhon Pa Joseph. DeJack, archived 17 September 2019 at the Wayback Machine, in French. 26 ABCD. Robert Graham, Anarchism, a Documentary History of Libertarian Ideas, Volume 1, From Anarchy to Anarchism, 300 CE to 1939, Black Rose Books, 2005. 27 AB. Change, archived 19 November 2017 at the Wayback Machine, article in La Liberté 06. 21 September 1858, New York. 28 DeJack criticized French mutualist anarchist Pierre-Joseph Proudhon as far as the Proudhonist version of Ricardian socialism, centered on the reward of labor power and the problem of exchange value. In his polemic with Proudhon on women's emancipation, DeJack urged Proudhon to push on as far as the abolition of the contract, the abolition not only of the sword and of capital, but of property and authority in all their forms, and refuted the commercial and wages logic of the demand for a fair reward for labor power. DeJack asked, am I thus right to want, as with the system of contracts, to measure out to each according to their accidental capacity to produce what they are entitled to? The answer given by DeJack to this question is unambiguous. It is not the product of his or her labor that the worker has a right to, but to the satisfaction of his or her needs, whatever may be their nature. For DeJack, on the other hand, the communal state of affairs, the phalanstry, without any hierarchy, without any authority except that of the statistics book, corresponded to natural exchange, i.e. to the unlimited freedom of all production and consumption, the abolition of any sign of agricultural, individual, artistic or scientific property, the destruction of any individual holding of the products of work, the demonetization and the demonetarization of manual and intellectual capital, as well as capital in instruments, commerce and buildings. Alan Pengham. Anarchist Communism. Archived 1 April 2012 at the Wayback Machine. 29 ABCD. Table of Contents. blackracybooks.net. Archived from the original on 23 September 2010. Retrieved 20 September 2010. 30 Dodson, Edward, 2002. The Discovery of First Principles, Volume 2. Author House. p. 312. ISBN 0-595-24912-4. 31 Thomas 1985, p. 187. 32 Thomas 1985, p. 304. 33 Back, JNOS, 1991. Liberty and Socialism. Lanham, Rowman and Littlefield Publishers. p. 236. ISBN 0-8476-7680-3. 34 Kropotkin, Peter. The Wages System. 1920. Also available, http://www.marxists.org/reference/archive/. Kropotkin Peter /1920/wage.htm archived 10 April, 2021 at the Wayback Machine. Such, in a few words, is the organization which the collectivists desire. Their principles are collective property in the instruments of labor and remuneration of each worker according to the time spent in productive toil, taking into account the productiveness of his work. 35 ABCDEFG Garin, Daniel, 1970. Anarchism, From Theory to Practice. New York, Monthly Review. Press. Archived from the original on 27 June 2022. Retrieved 2 August 2010. 36 Introduction. Mutualist.org. Archived from the original on 23 November 2020. Retrieved 20 September 2010. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 37 Miller, David. 1987. Mutualism. The Blackwell Encyclopedia of Political Thought. Blackwell. Publishing. p. 11. 38 Tandy, Francis D., 1896, Voluntary Socialism, Chapter 6, Paragraph 15. 39 Tandy, Francis D., 1896, Voluntary Socialism, Chapter 6, Paragraphs 9, 10 and 22. Carson, Kevin, 2004, Studies in Mutualist Political Economy, Chapter 2, After Mika and Oppenheimer. 40 Tandy, Francis D., 1896, Voluntary Socialism, Chapter 6, Paragraph 19. Carson, Kevin, 2004, Studies in Mutualist Political Economy, Chapter 2, After Ricardo, Dobb and Oppenheimer. 41 Solution of the Social Problem, 1848-49. 42 Swartz, Clarence Lee. What is Mutualism? 6. Land and Rent archived 4 December 2020 at the Wayback Machine. 43 Heymans, E. Pierre-Joseph Proudhon, pp. 190-91. Woodcock, George. Anarchism, A History of Libertarian Ideas and Movements, Broadview Press, 2004. pp. 110, 112. 44 General Idea of the Revolution, Pluto Press, pp. 215-16, 277. 45 Fourier, Charles, Trait, 1822, cited in Arthur E. Bester, Jr., The Evolution of the Socialist. Vocabulary, Journal of the History of Ideas, Volume 9, No. 3, June, 1948, 259302. 46 New Harmony Gazette, I, 30102, 14 June, 1826, cited in Arthur E. Bester, Jr., The Evolution of the Socialist Vocabulary, Journal of the History of Ideas, Volume 9, Number 3, June, 1948, 259302. 47 Joshua King Ingalls, A Practical Movement for Transition, Spirit of the Age, 2, 13, the 30th of March, 1850. pp. 20204. 48 Albert Brisbane, The Mutualist Township, The Spirit of the Age, 2, 12, the 23rd of March, 1850, 17983.2. 13, the 30th of March, 1850, 200.02. 49 Pierre Joseph Proudhon, The Coming Era of Mutualism, Spirit of the Age, I, 7, the 18th of August, 1849. 10708. 50 Native American Anarchism, A Study of Left-Wing American Individualism by Eunice Minot. Scuster archived 13 February, 2016, at the Wayback Machine. 51 Kevin Carson archived 15 April, 2011 at the Wayback Machine. Studies in Mutualist Political Economy. 52 Carson, Kevin. Mutualist Political Economy archived 15 April, 2011 at the Wayback Machine. Preface. 53 Introduction, General Idea of the Revolution, Pixxy. 54 Pierre Joseph Proudhon and the Rise of French Republican Socialism, Oxford University Press. Oxford, 1984, pp. 156, 230. 55 A. B. Patsoras, Louis. 2005. Marx in Context. iUniverse. p. 54. 56 Bakunin Mikhail. Bakunin on Anarchism. Black Rose Books. 1980 p. 369. 57 Morris, Brian. Bakunin, The Philosophy of Freedom. Black Rose Books Limited, 1993. p. 115. 58 Bakunin, Mikhail. Federalism, Socialism, Anti-Theologism by Michael Bakunin. www.marxists.org. Archived from the original on 16 October 2012. Retrieved 21 November 2012. 59 A. B. Woodcock, George, 1962-1975. Anarchism, 158. Harmondsworth, England, Penguin Books. ISBN 0-14-020622-1. 60 Michael Bakunin, Selected Writings, pp. 191-2. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 61 A. B. Emile Armand. Anarchist Individualism and Amorous Comradeship. Archived from the original on 24 November 2016. Retrieved 21 April 2020. 62 Marxism and Anarchism, The Philosophical Roots of the Marx-Bakunin Conflict. WorkersCompass.org, published by Workers' Action. 21 June 2002. Archived from the original on 24 June 2022. Retrieved 18 July 2017. 63 Nicholas Thoburn. The Lumpen Proletariat and the Proletarian Unnameable in Deleuze, Marx and Politics. Archived from the original on the 22nd of April, 2022. Retrieved the 28th of April, 2014. 64 Berkman, Alexander. The ABC of Anarchism, p. 68. 65 Kropotkin. Kropotkin's Revolutionary Pamphlets, p. 162. 66 Anarchism, p. 295. 67 A.3 What types of anarchism are there? 68 Bulletin, Burnett, 1991. The Spanish Civil War, Revolution and Counter-Revolution. UNC Press. Books. p. 65. ISBN 978-0-8078-1906-7. Archived from the original on the 7th of June, 2024. Retrieved the 25th of March, 2011. 69 The revolution abolishes private ownership of the means of production and distribution, and with it goes capitalistic business. Personal possession remains only in the things you use. Thus, your watch is your own, but the watch factory belongs to the people. 1. Archived the 23rd of May, 2012 at the Wayback Machine. Alexander Berkman. What is Communist Anarchism? 70 Maine, Alan James, 1999. From Politics Past to Politics Future, an integrated analysis of current and emergent paradigms. Alan James, Maine, published 1999. Greenwood Publishing Group. Greenwood Publishing. ISBN 978-0-275-96151-0. Archived from the original on the 7th of June, 2024. Retrieved the 20th of September, 2010. 71 Anarchism for Know-It-Alls. Philaquarian Publishing. 2008. ISBN 978-1-59986-218-7. Archived from the original on the 7th of June, 2024. Retrieved the 20th of September, 2010. 72 Fabbri, Luigi. Anarchism and Communism. Northeastern Anarchist #4. 1922, the 13th of October, 2002. htt p//twdmac.pitzer.edu/anarchist_archives/worldwide-movements/fabrianarandcom.html. Archived the 29th of June, 2011 at the Wayback Machine. 73 Mark No, Met, Arshinov, Valevsky, Linsky, Dialo-Trauder. The organizational platform of the Libertarian Communists. 1926. Constructive section, available here. http://www.nestormacno.info/ingle ish/platform/constructive.htm. Archived the 2nd of October, 2018 at the Wayback Machine. 74 Christopher Gray, Leaving the 20th Century, p. 88. 75 Towards the Creative Nothing. Archived the 28th of July, 2011 at the Wayback Machine by Renzo Novatore. 76 Post-Left Anarcho-Communist Bob Black. After analyzing insurrectionary anarcho-communist Luigi Galliani's view on anarcho-communism, went as far as saying that communism is the final fulfillment of individualism. The apparent contradiction between individualism and communism rests on a misunderstanding of both. Subjectivity is also objective. The individual really is subjective. It is Nonsense to speak of emphatically prioritizing the social over the individual. You may as well speak of prioritizing the chicken over the egg. Anarchy is a method of individualization. It aims to combine the greatest individual development with the greatest communal unity. Bob Black. Nightmares of Reason. Archived the 27th of October 2010 at the Wayback Machine. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 77 Modern communists are more individualistic than Stirner. To them, not merely religion, morality, family and state are spooks, but property also is no more than a spook, in whose name the individual is enslaved. And how enslaved? Communism thus creates a basis for the liberty and eigenheit of the individual. I am a communist because I am an individualist. Fully as heartily the communists concur with Stirner when he puts the word take in place of demand that leads to the dissolution of property, to expropriation. Individualism and communism go hand in hand. 2. Archived the 7th of September 2017 at the Wayback Machine. Max Baginski. Stirner, The Ego and His Own on Mother Earth. Volume 2. No, the 3rd of May 1907. 78 Communism is the one which guarantees the greatest amount of individual liberty provided that the idea that begets the community be liberty. Anarchy. Communism guarantees economic freedom better than any other form of association, because it can guarantee well-being, even luxury, in return for a few hours of work instead of a day's work. Communism and Anarchy. Archived the 28th of July 2011 at the Wayback Machine by Peter Kropotkin. 79 This other society will be libertarian communism, in which social solidarity and free individuality find their full expression, and in which these two ideas develop in perfect harmony. Organizational platform of the Libertarian Communists by Diallo Truda, Workers' Cause, archived the 28th of July 2011 at the Wayback Machine. 80 I see the dichotomies made between individualism and communism, individual revolt and class struggle, the struggle against human exploitation and the exploitation of nature as false dichotomies, and feel that those who accept them are impoverishing their own critique and struggle. My Perspectives by Willful Disobedience Volume 2, Number 12 archived the 16th of July 2011 at the Wayback Machine. 81 L. Susan Brown, The Politics of Individualism Black Rose Books, 2002. 82 A. L. Susan Brown, Does Work Really Work? Archived the 3rd of March 2016 at the Wayback Machine. 83 Alexander Berkman. What is Communist Anarchism? Archived the 23rd of May 2012 at the Wayback Machine. 84 Chapter 41, The Anarchists in the Great French Revolution 1789-1793 by Peter Kropotkin. Archived from the original on 4 March 2012. Retrieved 15 May 2012. 85 A.B. Nunzio Panicone, Italian Anarchism 1864-1892, pp. 11113, AK Press 2009. 86 James Guillaume, Michael Bacune in a biographical sketch archived 17 June 2019 at the Wayback Machine. 87 Malatesta, Eurico. A talk about anarchist communism between two workers. Also available at http://twdmac.pitsa.edu/anarchist_archives/malatesta/malatesta.atac.html archived the 10th of January 2010 at the Wayback Machine. 88 Pengham, Alan, the 21st of May 2012. Anarchist Communism. The Anarchist Library. Archived from the original on the 1st of April 2012. Retrieved the 6th of June 2012. 89 Yekelchik 2007, ATP. 90 Charles Townshend, John Bourne, Jeremy Black, 1997. The Oxford Illustrated History of Modern War. Oxford University Press. ISBN 0-19-820427-2. 91 AB The Maginista Revolt in Baja California, Capitalist Conspiracy or Rebellion de los Pobres. By Lawrence D. Taylor. Archived from the original on the 16th of October 2015. Retrieved the 21st of November 2012. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 92 This process of education and class organization, more than any single factor in Spain, produced the collectives. And to the degree that the CNTFAI, for the two organizations became fatally coupled after July 1936, exercised the major influence in an area, the collectives proved to be generally more durable, communist and resistant to Stalinist counter-revolution than other Republican-held areas of Spain. Murray Bookchin, To Remember Spain, The Anarchist and Syndicalist Revolution of 1936. Archived the 18th of March 2012 at the Wayback Machine. 93 Murray Bookchin, To Remember Spain, The Anarchist and Syndicalist Revolution of 1936. Archived the 18th of March 2012 at the Wayback Machine. 94 Porous Borders of Anarchist Vision and Strategy by Michael Albert in the Accumulation of Freedom. Writings on Anarchist Economics. Archived the 13th of April 2021 at the Wayback Machine AK Press. 2012. p. 327. 95 Albert, Michael Perkin, Life After Capitalism archived the 16th of October 2008 at the Wayback Machine Chapter 19 Individuals/Society. 96 Woodcock, George, 1962. Anarchism, A History of Libertarian Ideas and Movements. Melbourne. Penguin. 97 Martin, James J. 1970. Men Against the State. Colorado Springs, Ralph Miles Publisher Incorporated pp. 153, 172. 98 Woodcock, George, 1986. The Anarchist Reader. London, Fontana. p. 150. ISBN 0006861067. 99 Mackay, Ian, ed. 2008. An Anarchist FAQ. Sterling, AK Press. ISBN 978-1-902593-90-6. OCLC 1825292004. 100 Carson, Kevin O. 2008. Organization Theory, A Libertarian Perspective. Charleston, SC. Book Surge. 101 Carson, Kevin, the 19th of June, 2009. Socialism, a perfectly good word. Rehabilitated, archived 2016. 03-10 at the Wayback Machine. Center for a Stateless Society. But there has always been a market-oriented strand of libertarian socialism that emphasizes voluntary cooperation between producers and markets. Properly understood, have always been about cooperation. As a commenter at Reason Magazine's Hit and Run blog, remarking on Jesse Walker's link to the Kelly article, put it, every trade is a cooperative act. In fact, it's a fairly common observation among market anarchists that genuinely free markets have the most legitimate claim to the label socialism. 102 Carson, Kevin, 2010. The Homebrew Industrial Revolution, a Low Overhead Manifesto. Charleston. SC, Book Surge. 103 Chartier, Gary, 2009. Economic Justice and Natural Law. Cambridge, Cambridge University Press. 104 Chartier, Gary, Johnson, Charles W. 2011. Markets Not Capitalism, Individualist Anarchism Against Bosses, Inequality, Corporate Power, and Structural Poverty. Brooklyn, NY, Minor Compositions /Autonomedia. It introduces an eye-opening approach to radical social thought, rooted equally in libertarian socialism and market anarchism. 105 D'Amato, David S. The 27th of November, 2018. Black Market Activism, Samuel Edward Conkin 3 and Ageism, archived the 16th of November, 2018 at the Wayback Machine. 106 Bros, Derek, the 13th of September, 2016. Ageism is not anarcho-capitalism, archived the 15th of July, 2019. At the Wayback Machine. Center for a Stateless Society. Retrieved the 15th of July, 2019. 107 Ciabarra, Chris Matthew, 2000. Total Freedom, Toward a Dialectical Libertarianism. University Park. Pennsylvania State University Press. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 108 Kaplan, Brian, 2008. Anarchism. In Hamowy, Ronald, ed. Archived copy. The Encyclopedia of Libertarianism. Thousand Oaks, CA, Sage, Cato Institute. pp. 1013. Do. 10.4135/9781412965811.N7. ISBN 978-1-4129-6580-4. LCCN 2008009151. OCLC 7508310024. Archived from the original on 9 January 2023. Retrieved 18 March 2016. 109 Edward Stringham, Anarchy and the Law, The Political Economy of Choice, p. 51, archived 2023. 04-19 at the Wayback Machine. 110 Gerald F. Gauss, Chandran Kukathas. 2004. Handbook of Political Theory. Sage Publications. pp. 118119. Source refers to Friedman's philosophy as market anarchism. 111 Editor's note in taxation, voluntary or compulsory. Formulations. Free Nation Foundation. Summer 1995 Taxation, voluntary or compulsory. Archived from the original on the 28th of December 2010. Retrieved the 15th of March 2008. 112 Edward Stringham, Anarchy, State, and Public Choice, archived the 16th of April 2020 at the Wayback Machine, Cheltenham, UK, Edward Elgar, 2005. 113 It is important to distinguish between anarchism and certain strands of right-wing libertarianism which at times go by the same name, for example, Murray Rothbard's Anarcho-Capitalism. Saul Newman. The Politics of Post-Anarchism, Edinburgh University Press, archived the 7th of April 2023 at the Wayback Machine, 2010, p43, ISBN 0748634959. 114 Borras, ed., Elkin, Gary, Mackay, Ian, Neil, Dave, the 18th of June 2009. Benjamin Tucker, Capitalist or Anarchist. Archived the 13th of February 2020 at the Wayback Machine, Lysander Spooner, Right Libertarian or Libertarian Socialist. Archived the 13th of February 2020 at the Wayback Machine, an Anarchist FAQ. Retrieved the 2nd of April 2020. 115 Max Sisser, Ian, the 3rd of December 2009. The Ideas of Lysander Spooner, Libertarian or Libertarian Socialist. Archived the 21st of March 2019 at the Wayback Machine, Spunk. Retrieved the 2nd of April 2020. 116 Rothbard, Murray. Are Libertarians Anarchists? Archived the 13th of January 2017 at the Wayback Machine. lurockwell.com. Retrieved the 1st of April 2020. 117 Franks, Benjamin, August 2013. Frieden, Michael, Steers, Mark, eds. Anarchism. The Oxford Handbook of Political Ideologies. Oxford University Press, 385404. Do. 10.1000978019585977.013.00001. 118 Crime Ethic. The 27th of October 2007. The Really Free Market, Instituting the Gift Economy. Rolling Thunder, 4. Archived from the original on the 23rd of December 2008. Retrieved the 9th of December 2008. 119 A.B. Goldman 2003, p. 283. 120 B.1.2 Is Capitalism Hierarchical? By an Anarchist FAQ. Archived from the original on 2014-04. 28 Retrieved the 28th of April 2014. 121 A.B. Wage Slave. Merriam-Webster.com. Archived from the original on the 23rd of April 2009. Retrieved the 4th of March 2013. 122 Wage Slave. Dictionary.com. Archived from the original on the 24th of May 2009. Retrieved the 4th of March 2013. 123 Sandal 1996, p. 184. 124 AB Conversation with Noam Chomsky. Globetrotter.barclay.edu p2. Archived from the original on the 19th of September, 2019. Retrieved the 28th of June, 2010. 125 ABC Hallgrimsdotter and Ben Watt 2007. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 126 AB The Bolsheviks and Workers' Control, 1917–1921, The State and Counter-Revolution. Spunk. Library. Archived from the original on the 20th of December, 2006. Retrieved the 4th of March, 2013. 127 Harrington, Austin, et al. Encyclopedia of Social Theory Routledge, 2006, p. 50. 128 AB Proudhon 1890. 129 AB Marx 1969, Chapter 7. 130 Goldman 2003, p. 283. 131 AB Goldman, Emma. Anarchism and Other Essays. 3rd ed. 1917. New York, Dover Publications Incorporated. 1969, p. 54. 132 Conversation with Noam Chomsky, p. 2 of 5. Globetrotter.barclay.edu. Archived from the original on the 19th of September, 2019. Retrieved the 16th of August, 2011. 133 Lindemann, Albert S. A History of European Socialism, Yale University Press, 1983, p. 160. 134 Ely, Richard et al. Property and Contract in Their Relations to the Distribution of Wealth. The Macmillan Company, 1914. 135 Kevin A. Carson, Studies in Mutualist Political Economy, archived the 15th of April, 2011 at the Wayback Machine CHS 13. 136 Richman, Sheldon, Libertarian Left, archived the 14th of August, 2011 at the Wayback Machine, The American Conservative, March, 2011. 137 Marx, Theories of Surplus Value, 3, p. 501. 138 Various authors. The Accumulation of Freedom, Writings on Anarchist Economics. Archived. The 13th of April, 2021 at the Wayback Machine AK Press. 2012, p. 22. 139 For example Hallam, Roger, 1995, Anarchist Economics, Building Successful Social Alternatives. 140 Towards Anarchism. Archived from the original on the 3rd of October, 2012. Retrieved the 21st of November, 2012. 141 Days of War, Nights of Love, 2001, CrimethInc. Workers Collective, ISBN 0-9709101-0x. 142 Thus, the classical solution of expressing the value of goods and services in terms of man-hours, which was developed by the orthodox, political, economists of the time, was adopted by both Proudhon and Marx. http://www.inclusivedemocracy.org/dn/takis_proudhun.htm archived the 26th of September 2010 at The Wayback Machine Beyond Marx and Proudhun by Takis Fotopoulos. 143. The most basic difference is that the individualist anarchists rooted their ideas in the labor theory of value while the anarcho-capitalists favor mainstream marginalist theory. An Anarchist FAQ. Archived 15 March 2013 at The Wayback Machine. 144. Like Proudhun, they desired a libertarian, socialist system based on the market but without exploitation and which rested on possession rather than capitalist private property. Are individualist anarchists anti-capitalist. Archived from the original on 15 March 2013. Retrieved 4 August 2010. An Anarchist FAQ. 145. Whoever knows how to take, to defend, the thing, to him belongs property. What I have in my power, that is my own. So long as I assert myself as holder, I am the proprietor of the thing. He says, I do not step shyly back from your property, but look upon it always as my property, in which I respect nothing. Pray do the like with what you call my property. Max Stirner, The Ego and His Own p. 248. 146. Darby Tillis. An Anarchist FAQ. Infosharp.org. Archived from the original on 23 November 2010. Retrieved 20 September 2010. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 147. Communism is based on free consumption of all while collectivism is more likely to be based on the distribution of goods according to the labor contributed. An Anarchist FAQ archived 23 November 2010. At the Wayback Machine. 148. If a priest is required to get a soul out of purgatory, he sets his price according to the value which the relatives set upon his prayers, instead of their cost to the priest. This, again, is cannibalism. The same amount of labor equally disagreeable, with equal wear and tear, performed by his customers, would be a just remuneration. Warren, Josiah. Equitable Commerce. 149. Warren, Josiah. Equitable Commerce. pp. 77-78. 150. Georges Sorel in Stuart Isaacs and Chris Sparks, Political Theorists in Context, Routledge, 2004, p. 248. ISBN 0-415-20126-8. 151. Chaplin, Ralph, 1933, The General Strike for Industrial Freedom, p. 6. 152. Anarchosyndicalism.net, Why do anarcho-syndicalists oppose participation in statist politics? Archived from the original on 18 June 2013. Retrieved 20 June 2013. 153. Ibid, Why do anarcho-syndicalists oppose participation in statist politics? Archived from the original on 18 June 2013. Retrieved 20 June 2013. 154. Ian McKay, ed. 2008. What types of anarchism are there? An Anarchist FAQ. Sterling, AK Press. ISBN 978-1-902593-90-6. OCLC 1825292004. Archived from the original on the 22nd of September 2008. 155 Wage slave. Dictionary.com. Archived from the original on the 24th of May 2009. Retrieved the 4th of March 2013. 156 Sundal 1996, p. 184. 157 Avinary 1968, p. 142. 158 Fitzhugh 1857. 159 George 1981, chapter 15. 160 Conversation with Noam Chomsky, p. 2 of 5. Globetrotter.barclay.edu. Archived from the original on the 19th of September 2019. Retrieved the 24th of September 2013. 161 Gray, Peter, the 2nd of July 2009. Play makes us human v. Why hunter-gatherers' work is play. Psychologytoady.com. Archived from the original on the 7th of June 2024. Retrieved the 4th of March 2013. 162 Graeber 2011. 163 Vulgar are the means of livelihood of all hired workmen whom we pay for mere manual labor, not for artistic skill, for in their case the very wage they receive is a pledge of their slavery. De Officiis. 3. Archived the 19th of October 2017 at the Wayback Machine. 164 Klein 1986. 165 Fona 1995, p. 19. 166 Jensen 2002. 167 Thompson 1966, p. 599. 168 Thompson 1966, p. 912. 169 AB Ostergaard 1997, p. 133. 170 Lazonik 1990, p. 37. 171 Garin, Daniel, ed., No Gods, No Masters, AK Press, Volume 1, p. 62. 172 The General Idea of the Revolution, Pluto Press, pp. 277, 281. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 173 AB Ridley-Duff, R.J. 2009. Cooperative Social Enterprises, Company Rules, Access to Finance and Management Practice, Social Enterprise Journal, 5, 1, forthcoming. Archived from the original on the 31st of August 2009. Retrieved the 21st of November 2012. 174 ICA 2005, World Declaration on Worker Cooperatives, approved by the ICA General Assembly in Cartagena, Colombia, the 23rd of September, 2005. Archived the 25th of March, 2009 at the Wayback Machine. 175 ABC Bookkin, Murray, the 3rd of July, 2005. Municipalization, Community Ownership of the Economy. Archived from the original on the 25th of September, 2011. Retrieved the 21st of November, 2012. 176 Kevin Carson. The Homebrew Industrial Revolution, a Low-Overhead Manifesto. Boujudge. 2010. p. 274. 177 Anderson, Edwin Robert. 1911. The Income Tax, a Study of the History, Theory and Practice of Income Taxation at Home and Abroad. The Macmillan Company. p. 279. 178 Burton, Richard D. 1991. Baudelaire and the Second Republic, Writing and Revolution. Oxford University Press. p. 122. 179 Corcoran, John Fraser. 1849. History of the National Constituent Assembly, from May, 1848. Harper and Brothers. p. 275. 180 A. B. Martin, Henry, and Alger, Abbey Langdon. A Popular History of France from the First Revolution to the Present Time. D'Estes and C. Lauria. p. 189. 181 Orgillo, Massimo M., Luigi, Marco Enrico. 2005. Economists in Parliament in the Liberal Age. Ashgate Publishing, Limited p. 123. 182 Suppose that all the producers in the Republic, numbering more than 10 millions, tax themselves. Each one, to the amount of only 1% of their capital. Suppose that by means of this tax a bank be founded, in competition with the Bank, miscalled, of France, discounting and giving credit on mortgages at the rate of 0.5%. Henry Cohen, ed. Proudhon's Solution of the Social Problem. Vanguard Press, 1927. pp. 118-19. 183 Henry Cohen, ed. Proudhon's Solution of the Social Problem. Vanguard Press, 1927. 46 p. 184 Peter Gelderloos. Anarchy Works archived 29 November 2014 at the Wayback Machine. 185 Cole, David J. 1988. 1. Moral Economy. The Gift Economy. New York, Routledge. pp. 119. ISBN 0415006414. Archived from the original on 7 June 2024. Retrieved 18 June 2009 via Google. Books. 186 Bollier, David. The Stubborn Vitality of the Gift Economy. Silent Theft, the Private Plunder of Our Commonwealth. First Printing ed. New York, Routledge, 2002. 3839. Print. 187 R. Cranton, Reciprocal Exchange, A Self-Sustaining System, American Economic Review, v86. 1996, Issue 4, September, pp. 830-51. 188 Lewis Hyde, The Gift, Imagination and the Erotic Life of Property. 189 Hagstrom, Warren, 1982. Gift-Giving as an Organizing Principle in Science. In Barry Bonds and David Edge. Science in Context, Readings in the Sociology of Science. MIT Press, Cambridge, Massachusetts. 190 Morse, Marcel. The Gift, The Form and Reason for Exchange in Archaic Societies pp. 36-37. 191 What is Debt? An interview with economic anthropologist David Graeber. Naked Capitalism. Archived from the original on the 11th of April, 2019. Retrieved the 21st of November, 2012. 192 David Graeber, Debt, The First 5,000 Years, Melville 2011. Compare. A History of Debt. Archived from the original on the 10th of December, 2011. Retrieved the 21st of November, 2012. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 193 Graeber, David. Toward an Anthropological Theory of Value. pp. 153-54. 194 Macmillan, John Campbell, Bull, Paul, 2003. The New Left Revisited. Temple University Press. pp. 112. ISBN 978-1-56639-976-0. Retrieved the 28th of December, 2011 via Google Books. 195 Lytle 2006, pp. 213, 215. 196 Overview, Who Were, Are, the Diggers. The Digger Archives. Archived from the original on the 4th of October, 2018. Retrieved the 17th of June, 2007. 197 Gail Dolgen, Vicente Franco, 2007. American Experience, The Summer of Love. PBS. Archived from the original on the 25th of March, 2017. Retrieved the 23rd of April, 2007. 198 Gordon, Yuri. Anarchism and Political Theory, Contemporary Problems. The Anarchist Library. Archived from the original on the 5th of November, 2013. Retrieved the 27th of August, 2013. 199 Benkler, Yokai. Coase Penguin, or, Linux and the Nature of the Firm, PDF. The Yale Law Journal. Archived from the original, PDF, on the 10th of October, 2010. Retrieved the 15th of April, 2010. 200 Terra Nova, Tiziana Free Labor, Producing Culture for the Digital Economy, archived the 21st of July, 2018. At the Wayback Machine. 07-26-2005. 201 Max Nettlau. Anarchism, Communist or Individualist. Both archived the 29th of October, 2016 at the Wayback Machine. 202 Garin, Daniel, 1970. Anarchism, From Theory to Practice. New York, Monthly Review Press. Archived from the original on the 2nd of March, 2012. Retrieved the 21st of November, 2012. 203 Kropotkin, Peter, 1927. Anarchist Communism, Its Basis and Principles. Archived from the original on the 3rd of October, 2012. Retrieved the 21st of November, 2012. 204 This leads to the proposal for a new conception of social welfare, the third aim of the paper, which is based on a conception of economic democracy as an integral part of an inclusive democracy, welfare state or economic democracy. Archived the 7th of June, 2024 at the Wayback Machine by Takis Fotopoulos. 205 In any case, economic democracy has not simply meant workplace democracy and employee ownership. Many workers, in fact, would like to get away from their factories if they could and find more creative artisanal types of work, not simply participate in planning their own misery. What economic democracy meant in its profoundest sense was free, democratic access to the means of life, the counterpart of political democracy, that is, the guarantee of freedom from material want. Municipalization. Community ownership of the economy. Archived the 18th of February 2013 at archive.today by Murray Bookkin. 206 A. B. Smith, J.W. 2005. Economic Democracy, The Political Struggle for the 21st Century. Radford, Virginia, Institute for Economic Democracy Press. ISBN 1-933567-01-5. 207 Harvey, David, 2010. The Enigma of Capital and the Crises of Capitalism. Oxford, England, New York, Oxford University Press. ISBN 978-0-19-975871-5. 208 George, Henry, 1912, 1879. Progress and Poverty, An Inquiry into the Cause of Industrial Depressions and of Increase of Want with Increase of Wealth, the Remedy. Garden City, New York. Doubleday, Page and Company. OCLC 338381. Sources, edit. Avinari, Shlomo, 1968. The Social and Political Thought of Karl Marx. Cambridge, Cambridge University Press. ISBN 978-0-521-09619-5. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Ellerman, David P. 1992. Property and Contract in Economics, in Case for Economic Democracy. Cambridge, Mass., USA, Blackwell. ISBN 978-1557863096. Fitzhugh, George, 1857. Cannibals All. Or, Slaves Without Masters. Richmond, VA, Morris. ISBN 9781429016438. Archived from the original on 7 June 2024. Retrieved 9 March 2013. Foner, Eric, 1995-1970. Free Soil, Free Labor, Free Men, The Ideology of the Republican Party Before the Civil War. New York, NY, Oxford University Press. ISBN 978-0-19-509497-8. George, Henry, 1981, 1883. Social Problems. New York, Robert Skarkenbach Foundation. ISBN 0911312117-X. Goldman, Emma, 2003. Falk, Candice, ed. Emma Goldman, A Documentary History of the American Years, Volume 1, Made for America, 1890–1901. University of California Press. ISBN 978-0-520. 08670-8. Archived from the original on 7 June 2024. Retrieved 18 March 2016. Graeber, David, 2011. Debt, The First 5,000 Years. Brooklyn, NY, Melville House. ISBN 978-1-933633. 86-2. OCLC 4267944447. Archived from the original on 7 June 2024. Retrieved 16 February 2022. 2001. Toward an Anthropological Theory of Value, The False Coin of Our Own Dreams, PDF. New York, Palgrave. ISBN 978-0-312-24044-8. OCLC 468222270. Archived, PDF, from the original on 2021. 04-13. Retrieved 17 April 2016. Hallgrimsdotter, Helga Kristen, Benwatt, Cecilia, 2007. From Wage Slaves to Wage Workers, Cultural Opportunity Structures and the Evolution of the Wage Demands of the Knights of Labor and the American Federation of Labor, 1880-1900. Social Forces. 85, 1393 411 10.1353/soft.2007.0037. JSTA 4494978. S2 SID 1545511793. Jensen, Derek, 2002. The Culture of Make-Believe. New York, NY, Context Books. ISBN 978-1-893956. 28-5. Klein, Martino. 1986. Review, Slavery in Russia, 1450-1725 by Richard Helly. American Journal of Sociology. 92, 2505506 10.1086/2285533. JSTA 2780190. Kropotkin, Peter. The Conquest of Bread, New York, New York University Press. Kropotkin, Peter. Anarchist Communism, Its Basis and Ideals. Archived 18 June 2021 at the Wayback Machine. Lazonik, William, 1990. Competitive Advantage on the Shop Floor. Cambridge, MA, Harvard University Press. ISBN 978-0-674-15416-2. Lytle, Mark H. 2006, America's Uncivil Wars, The 60s Era from Elvis to the Fall of Richard Nixon. Oxford University Press, ISBN 978-0-19-517496-0. Marx, Karl, 1969, 1863. Theories of Surplus Value. Moscow, Progress Publishers. Ostergaard, Geoffrey, 1997. The Tradition of Workers' Control. London, Freedom Press. ISBN 978-0-900384-91-2. Proudhon, Pierre-Joseph, 1890. What is Property? An Inquiry into the Principle of Right and Government. Humboldt Publishing Company. Archived from the original on the 7th of June, 2024. Retrieved the 17th of May, 2022. Sandel, Michael J. 1996. Democracy's Discontent, America in Search of a Public Philosophy, First Harvard University Press paperback ed. Cambridge, Mass. Belknap Press of Harvard University Press. ISBN 9780674197459. Diego Abade de Santillan. After the Revolution. Archived from the original on the 22nd of June, 2004. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Thomas, Paul, 1985. Karl Marx and the Anarchists. London, Routledge and Kegan Paul. ISBN 0-7102. 0685-2. Thomson, E.P. 1966, 1963. The Making of the English Working Class. New York, N.Y., Vintage. ISBN 978-0-394-70322-0. Further reading, edit. Michael Albert, Robin Harnell. A Quiet Revolution in Welfare Economics. Murray Bookkin, Post-Scarcity Anarchism, 1971 and 2004. ISBN 1-904859-06-2. Kevin A. Carson, The Iron Fist Behind the Invisible Hand, Corporate Capitalism as a State. Guaranteed System of Privilege, Nanaimo, BC, Red Lion 2001, revised 2002. Kevin A. Carson, Contract Feudalism, A Critique of Employer Power over Employees. London, Libertarian Alliance 2006. Photopoulos, Takis, Towards an Inclusive Democracy, online, 11 megabytes, Castle/Continuum. London/New York, 1997. ISBN 0-304-33628-9. Gillen, Abraham. Anarchist Economics, An Alternative for a World in Crisis. The Economics of the Spanish Libertarian Collectives 1936-39 Dam and La Presa. 1992. Harnell, Robin. The ABCs of Political Economy, Pluto, 2002. Harnell, Robin. Economic Justice and Democracy, Routledge, 2005. Kropotkin, Peter Fields Factories and Workshops, The Collected Works of Peter Kropotkin, v9. Black Rose Books, 1 January 1996. ISBN 1-895431-38-7. Lavelle, Gaston Collectives in the Spanish Revolution, London, Freedom Press. ISBN 0-900384-11-5. G. P. Maximoff, Program of Anarcho-Syndicalism. Extract from his Constructive Anarchism. Published in English in 1952, this section is not included in the only edition of the work now in print. Sydney, Monty Miller Press, 1985. Proudhon, Pierre, The System of Economic Contradictions, or the Philosophy of Poverty. Sandel, Michael J. 1998. Democracy's Discontent, America in Search of a Public Philosophy. Harvard University Press. ISBN 978-0-674-19745-9. Solidarity Federation and IWA. The Economics of Freedom, an Anarcho-Syndicalist Alternative. to Capitalism. Solfed Booklets. 2003. Various authors. The Accumulation of Freedom, Writings on Anarchist Economics. AK Press. 2012, ISBN 978-1849350945. Anarchist Economics compiled by John Becken, overview of the topic with extensive reading. Lists from syndicalist.org. External links, edit. Archive of Anarchist Economic articles at the Anarchist Library. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Categories: Anarchist Economics, Anarchist Theory, Issues in Anarchism. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF.